Done.
Many cultures have legends or stories about their interactions with animals. There is a group of Native Americans called the Seneca tribes, and they have a legend which is very well known among their people called the legend of Little Water and the gift of the animals. And I'm going to tell you that story today. Yes, Charlotte?
How many people live?
Okay, well, I think there were probably less than 100 in that specific tribe, but there were many, many more people in the groups of tribes. But now we're going to hold questions until after the story, okay? Okay, so now Little Water was a great hunter. And a great hunter means that he didn't necessarily kill the most animals. It was that he knew the rules of the forest and the way to take only what he needed and to thank the animals after he took what he needed. And the animals appreciated and honored him because he was a good and worthy hunter who treated them well. In addition, Little Water had a very special gift, and that was that he could communicate with the animals, and the animals understood what he was saying. He had an even more special connection with one specific animal, and that was Wolf. He and Wolf could communicate without words. So Wolf and Little Water spent many, many days together in the forests throughout the summers. But when the wind started to blow cold from the north and the leaves started to change color to turn orange and brown, then Little Water knew it was time to return to his village. So he said to his friend Wolf, "Wolf, I have to go back to the village." And Wolf asked, "Why, Little Water?" And Little Water replied, "Because it is the harvest time. It is time for the harvest festival. We must bring in the corn and the squash and the peas and store them for winter so that we have enough to eat. And during this, after we store the food, we have a festival with music and dancing, and we play the drums." And so Wolf understood. And so he and Little Water took the long journey back in canoes and along forest paths to the Seneca village. And at the edge of the Seneca village, Little Water said to Wolf, "Goodbye, my friend, I will see you soon." And Wolf said goodbye to Little Water. So Little Water walked into the clearing of the village, and there was a lake on the edge of the clearing and many long houses where the Seneca people lived. And Little Water looked around, and he saw that it was very strange. It was very quiet. No one was speaking. No children were laughing or playing. No women were working. No men were working. There was no one around. It was very, very strange. And so he called out. He called out looking for someone, for anyone that he knew, but no one came. And then he saw at the edge of the little lake, he saw his grandfather, Stone Owl. And he went running down as fast as he could to the edge of the lake, and he called, "Stone Owl, Stone Owl!" And Stone Owl turned, and he said, "Little Water, we have been looking for you. We have been worried about you." And Little Water said, "What is going on? What's happening here? Where is everyone?" And Stone Owl said, "Oh, there has been a terrible sickness. All of the people of our village, all of your family, they're terribly ill. And all my medicine," because Stone Owl was a medicine man, "my medicine cannot cure them, cannot help them. And we cannot bring in the harvest because everyone is so sick. So even if we survive the sickness, we will die of starvation in the winter." To which Little Owl replied, "Do not worry, Stone Owl. I will gather all of the harvest in. I will bring everything in." And Stone Owl said, No, you cannot do it alone. No, we ask something else of you." And Little Water says, "Well, what can I do to help my people?" And Stone Owl says, "I have heard that the animals of the forest know how to create a very strong medicine which can cure us of the sickness. And we need you to go talk to the animals of the forest, Little Water." And Little Water said, "Yes, I will do this." So Little Water gathered his things and he headed back into the forest. And he called to all his animal friends. But first he called Wolf. He called, "Wolf, Wolf, I need you." But something terrible had happened. The wind had begun to blow. And the sky had begun to darken. And a terrible autumn storm had come up. And lightning cracked. And it got darker and darker. And Little Water lost his way. He was crushing through tree branches, trying to find his way to his animal friends. And he called to them. He called deer, he called otter, he called bear. But none of them came. None of them could hear him over the crack of the thunder and the blowing of the wind. And it grew darker, and he was blinded by lightning. And as he was blinded by lightning, he took a funny step, and he slipped, and he fell over a cliff, and he banged his head on a rock. And he was unconscious, and he lay there as the rain poured down on him. And it was when he was laying there, almost dead, that Wolf found him. and Wolf licked him. And then Wolf said, little water, are you all right, little water? But little water did not respond. And so Wolf let out a cry to Grandmother Moon. Ow! 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 And Grandmother Moon sent away the storm, and she sent soft, soft moonlight down to the forest paths. And Wolf, in his cry, also called all of the animals of the forest. Come, we must help our friend Little Water. He is hurt. His people are sick. He needs us. And so the storm melted away, and the moon glowed over the forest, and Bear came first, and then Deer, and then Turtle, and then Hawk, and lastly came Otter. And Bear helped Wolf move Little Water to a safer, more comfortable position. And then Wolf said, we must help Little Water. He and his people have a terrible illness. And then Hawk said, well, what can we give him? And Otter said, we must give him our gifts to cure him. We must give him the gifts of life. We must give him the gifts of the forest. And Wolf said, yes, we must do this. And so they began to dance and to sing and to dance and to sing. And even though Little Water was unconscious, he could see them in his dream. And Deer said first, I will give him the gift of renewal of life. Like my antlers, which grow big in the spring and then fall off in the winter, I will give him this gift. And then Bear says, I will give him the strength of my claws. And then Hawk said, I will give him the feathers of peace. And then Turtle said, I will give him my shell with which to make music. And Otter thought for a moment, and then he spoke, and he said, I will give him my pelt, so that he can make a medicine bag to carry our gifts of the forest back to his sick people. And Wolf, he spoke very, very last. He said, I will give him the gift of my call. And when he hears my call to the Grandmother Moon, then he will know that the strength of the animals is with him and with his people, and that we are always with him. So night passed, and the animals slept around Little Water, and then they slowly returned back to their forest paths, until only Wolf was left at Little Water's side. And it was a beautiful, fresh morning, and Little Water woke up, and he wondered, was it all a dream? Had he imagined all of the animals of the forest there with him? And then he was all confused and startled, and he looked around and he said, Wolf, Wolf, what happened? What happened? And Wolf said, it was all real. All of them were here. Deer was here, Bear was here, Otter was here, Turtle was here, and Hawk were here, and they all gave you their gifts. And then Little Water said, but what if I don't remember what they gave me? What if I can't remember their gifts? And Wolf said, once you have learned them, you will remember them. You will take them with you in this bag of otter skin, and you will bring it back to your village to heal your family and your friends. And so Little Water got back to his feet, and he held his hand in Wolf's pelt because he was weak and tired from hitting his head. And they struggled back through the forest, back through until they came to the edge of the clearing, looking out on the longhouses of the Seneca village. And Wolf waited until he saw Little Water walk out, and Little Water called out, Stone Owl, I have returned. And Snow Owl came weakly out of one of the longhouses, and Little Water said to him, I have come back, and I have brought the gifts of the animals to give our people health and life. And then Stone Owl and Little Water went to all of the longhouses, and they brought all of the people together. And then Little Water taught them the animals' music in the dance of life. And he taught them the dances that the animals had taught him. And he gave them the animals' gifts. And as they danced and as they sang, the people grew stronger and stronger and healthier until they were well enough to go out and harvest all of the vegetables that they had planted in the spring. And then they had their festival of the harvest. And they were very happy and they were well. And the animals of the forest, they watched them from outside the forest. And Little Water, he knew he had done a good thing. And he knew that the animals had been kind and good to him. And he forever remembered the animals, as did the Seneca people. And whenever they heard the cry of the wolf, the ow, 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 at the Grandmother Moon, then they knew that the animals were with them, and that the animals loved them and cared for them, and they must too care and love for the animals. So that's the end of the story. Did you all like it?
Yeah. Encore.
Good job, guys. How was it? Yes, Charlotte.
How?
Skin.
Oh.
Okay. All right, guys, we're done.
No, I don't.
What did you think?
Bye bye.